I think actually I'm just going to get started, and then normally people join as we go along. So I'll get started, because as I say, I don't really know what I'm doing. So I need to crack on. So I will be working with 2 sets tonight. I haven't made the discounts live, but I shall do that immediately after the live. So this evening I'm working with Narky sentiments. Haven't actually decided what sentiment I want to work with from this set. It's either going to be the Some People Are Clouds, or Like Clouds, or Don't Wrestle Your Demons. And then I'm also working with Winter Vine. So yeah, I'll be working with 2 this evening. So I'll get cracking. I've already set my Winter Vine up in my stamping platform, so I'll be doing a bit of colouring as well this evening, but it won't be too much. We'll see how we get on. So for the Winter Vine, I'm going to need, because of the colouring, a piece of A6 Super Smooth, which I did prepare. I'm using an A6 side fold, but I'm turning it into a mountain, if that makes sense. That's okay, Vicky. I hope you can put up with my voice while you're eating. And I've cut down a piece of Super Smooth, so this is just regular cardstock, nothing special, and then a piece of Super Smooth to sit over the top of that, because I'll be doing some ink blending, and it's just neater to do it on a piece of card and then mount the card onto the card blank. So I'll pop the card aside, and I'm going to set this up in my stamping platform. So I've cut it. This stamp works out just a bit smaller than A6, so by cutting this to A6 means I've got something for the magnets to hold on to. I apologise for my nails, they are a tad yellow, they're a bit discoloured at the tips. It doesn't look too nice, I'm afraid. It was where I was preparing all the dogs' dinners for the week. I was cutting up sweet potato and carrots, and I didn't realise actually that my nails were so discoloured. So take no notice of those. So I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black, because I will be heat embossing. So I'm just stamping all over. I won't be using the whole of the stamped image. I'll be cutting circles from it. So what we're going to end up with is 3 circles like such, and I'll be colouring those in. So there's not very much colouring at all. That is in the way, so I'm going to try and move that a little. I didn't plan this very well, did I? That would do, I think. Right, and I'm just going to get my tool. Do you know, Vicky, on that note, I have deliberated whether or not 7 o'clock would be better. What do you think? Do you think 7 o'clock would be better overall? Right, so hopefully that'll do. So I'm going to heat emboss this. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. I'm going to set that in clear embossing powder. Even though I'm not using all of it, it's much easier to work as a whole image as opposed to 3 smaller images. And then also by doing the whole image, I've got some spare that I can use for another project as well. So I'm just heating that up with my heat tool. Just letting that warm up. Trying to pick it up now. There we go. So it looks quite rustic actually, and I'm okay with that. It's taken a little while, so bear with. We've got quite a lot of ground to cover with this one. There we go. So that's how we're looking. So what I'm going to do is find 3 nice areas and cut them with my circle dies. So now these are a set of 3. And I'll be using the largest to cut some spotlights, and then the 2 smaller I'll come back to later. So I'm going to find some areas that I quite like, and then run it through my embossing my die cutting machine. Unfortunately, I have to repeat this process 3 times, so it is a bit of a noisy one tonight. Oh, sneaky thing came out the back. Hate that one edge just doesn't cut quite right. That's fine. Okay, so I need to find another couple of areas, so I'll go with here. In fact, I'm going to bring that up closer to the middle of the plates so that it cuts better. And then last one. I've put that one in on a bit of a wonk, so that's okay, it's come out fine the other end. Number 3. So I can save that. There's a couple of areas here which I can use for something else. So I'll pop that aside. And then I'm going to go in and colour up these small circles. So I've got the pens at the ready. I'm just getting them out of my pot. So I've got 2 greens and a red. So I'm going to start with YG03 and YG95 in my Copic markers. Yes, I call them Copics, everyone calls them Copics. Not fussed, to be honest. And I'm just going to pick out a few leaves. In this colour combination. To start off with. And I always apply my lightest colour first. I'm only going to use 2 colours. So 2 different shades on each leaf. And then let me see if I can zoom in a little. Okay. So going in with the lighter first. Just picking out some of those leaves, applying the lighter colour first. And then going in with the darker and just adding some shade in there. It's not actually, I'm not blending, I'm just adding a little detail. There's no need to blend in such a small area. And then again on the third, the beauty of heat embossing is I can just go straight over all these details, all the black details, all the outline, and have no fear of it smudging or the ink moving about. So just add in a bit of shade, and I'll come back to those in a moment. And then going back into all 3 again. Yeah, there is a delay, Vicky. Don't want the chisel. And then I'm using FYG2 just for a little bit of interest. Some more green going on, so it's all not the same. And there's a few different colours going on. So I'll colour those in as berries. And then we have some popping in and popping out. I will actually blend this one because there's quite a significant difference in the colours there. No. That's another of my Copics that are running out. Well, it's dried up, shall I say. I would never buy them again. I would never recommend them. They used to be fantastic. And then some of the newer ones, I don't know what's going on, but useless. Absolutely useless. There's no cracks in the barrel nor the lids, but every time I work with my Copics, you can guarantee at least another one has dried up. Let's just colour those in there. And we'll give that one just a one tone colour, and that little one there. I've gone actually outside on that one, but that's the joy of colouring, isn't it? It's infuriating when there's so much money for a pen. I think they're about £7 now each pen. It really is an investment, and for them to dry up the way they are. There's quite a lot of leaves in this one. And a couple of little ones. So just going in now and just adding this darker. In fact, we don't need the darker on the little ones. And then just blending that out with what's left of the FYG2, FYG2. And then let's go in with some berries. Oh, that's okay, Mum. It was me that it was playing up for, so I kept diving in and out. The live was coming and going and coming and going. Vicky, I use Colt pens. I did get a batch from a store in central London, but I don't think they were the problem. It just seems to be the last couple of, because obviously they are an investment, so they've taken some years to get to the point that I have with them. But it seems the last couple of years worth that I'm having the problems with. And I don't buy the refills personally because I don't have anywhere to store them. It's one thing storing the pens, but storing the refills is something else altogether. So I'd rather just buy the pens as they run out, but at this rate I just can't afford to. What I'm doing is I've got a little list ahead of me on the wall. Every time I find one runs out, I add to that list. But at this stage, I'm probably looking at around £200 plus just to replace the ones which have dried up. And when I first started collecting them, it wasn't a problem. It's really, really frustrating. And then, of course, there's the ones which are really juicy and then they pour out over your work. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So I've done the berries. That was using R59. I am going to go in with that FYG2 and just see if I can blend some of that a bit better. I think that's the best I'm going to get for now. Right, so I'm just going to have a look. And actually, what I will say is, I've noticed it's more on the sketch as opposed to the chow. I've got less of the chow dried up than the sketch. The sketch are the problem, and they're the dearer ones. Right, anyway, I digress. Let's get all these lids put on before any more dry out on me. Okay, I think I've coloured all there is to colour, although I've missed a part here. Some of the detail is so small on this winter vine that it's easily missed. So there. And that's done. Sorry if you can see my head. And here too. Right. So now I did think, oh, it's going to be a very quick card. So I have tried to come up with ways to prolong it a bit, but not keeping you too long. So what I decided was I was going to ink round the circles, and to do that I've got evergreen bow. Now I'm not too sure if I want to use that one. I might actually change that to tie in a bit better. That's a bit better. I'm going to use bundled sage instead, and just go around the edges of each of those. And I think I might even do the same. I've lost my piece of card. Oh, I'll come back to it in a moment. And just bring some of that in round the edges of each of those circles. Just to give that some extra dimension. Not coming in all the way, just the edges. This colour is actually quite nice with the colour of the leaves. And then just do that bit there. So that's those. It's quite dark, isn't it? Oh, I've missed one of the lights. There we go. That's better. So that's those done. And then I have lost my piece of card. Right, there's the card. There's the messy mat. Just looking for that card. I think I know what I did. I think I used it to cut into. That's okay. So I'm just going to cut another piece of card down to the same size as the card blank. So in terms of width, we're fine, but it is a little bit long. So and actually I'm going to turn that round that way just so that we're not chopping the fold away in error. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm back with another piece of card, same size as the A6 card front. So those circles will all line up along the front quite nicely. They fit in quite snug as a bug. But what I'm going to do is ink this in the same colour. So again, the bundled sage, I'm going to do the edges, just emphasise the corners a little more. So I'm not going in too far. Just coming in minimally and just going over them corners just a little more. You know what else I know I'm going to do something else as well, actually, just to add a little bit more interest. So they'll all line up along here. Okay, so let's pop that away. So I did say that as part of the set, the layering set of circles, the dies, I'll be using the smaller ones. So what I'm going to do is use them as a template to draw around. Actually, I might not use that. I might not use them because the little metal pins that hold all the dies together are there, and they're going to get in the way of the marker pen. So I'm going to get my marker pen, and I'm just looking for something on my desk, some circles. I think I'll use, okay, I'll use those. So what I'm going to do is take the lid off of that. I'm going to just draw some circles. So if we say these are going to go here, so they're just slightly up from centre, well, about a third of the way down. I don't want these necessarily immediately out, completely visible. I'm going to tuck some of the circle away behind those circles there. So I'll do my first one around here. And then I'll use a smaller one and just do another there. And then I'll do one around here. And then let's bring them in occasionally just to see where they're lining up. And then here. Okay, so I think yeah, I think I'll leave that there, actually. So let's pop that back, and then I think what I'll do is just pop them aside with the card blank. I'll add some splats, I think. Oopsie daisy. A little bit enthusiastic there. So I'm going to add some splats of the bundled sage as well. I'm just going to get my water and a fan brush. And as you know, to do this, we'll just smoosh some of the bundled sage onto the block. That's just my stamping block. Add some water and then splat that over, and I'll leave it there. I don't want to over egg it. I'm going to use some old tissue just to clean that. Just to clean that off, pop that away, and clean that up, put that away, and then I'm going to dry this off with the heat tool. You'd think they were puddles of water. It's taking forever. That's okay. But as I was drying that, I had an idea. So I was initially thinking of doing the circles slightly higher and then the sentiment underneath. But I think actually I'm going to lower the circles till around about the halfway mark, and then I'm going to put the sentiment across the middle. So let me stick this down to my card blank to start off with. And hope that it all sticks nice and straight, because that heat tool just has a way of warping your card, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Okay, and then just hold that down for a moment. Let the glue grab. Oh, orange nails fully on view there. Just tidying up while I'm holding that down. Why not? Yep, that seems to have taken really quite well, actually. Right, so for the sentiments, I need some black cardstock. That'll do. And I'll be using Narky sentiments. And I think I will use Some People Are Like Clouds. When they disappear, it's a beautiful day. So for that, I need to prepare my black card. With my anti-static, and then bring back in my acrylic block. Okay. Now I'm just going to be using the Versamark. Give that a good ink. There's quite a lot of text here. Right, let's stand up for this part. Just to make sure I get that nice and straight. And let that card grab the ink. Okay. Then I'll use a white embossing powder. Use my ginormous tub of embossing powder. I did go on the Creative Expression sale to see if I can get the smaller tubs, but they'd all sold out, so I'd left it too late and they'd all gone. Don't procrastinate, guys. If you want something, just get it there and then while you can. Lovely. That's come out nice and straight, actually. And I'm just heat setting that. So I'm just going to trim that sentiment off. Normally I do that before, I cut the card down before, but we've done it the other way around this evening. Yeah, I like that. I like how that's cut. So let's pop that aside. So I'm going to attach the circles, and actually I'm going to use some foam tape to do this. Every time I do this, it goes flying off. They've all made a lovely little pile at the back of my work area. I don't know why they do that, but okay, so I'll stick, because I know they fill the entire length, I know I can get away with sticking the first one down, and then what I'll do is I'll put the next one here, and then I can even out the space between either of those and the inner circle by putting that one in last, as opposed to cramming them all up and then having a gap somewhere that's larger than the rest or smaller than the rest. So and I think I'll use my tea ruler just to be sure, so that it needs to go over to the left a little. That'll do. And then the last one. Oh, Vicky, you'll have to send me the details, please, if you don't mind, because it can be quite pricey. Although, I have found a supplier where it is quite cheap when it's on offer, I think. So if you don't mind sharing that information, I'd be open to that. There we go. Lovely. Just straightening that out a little bit because it has warped from the heat setting. And then this will go across the middle. So I'm just going to trim that down. What I am going to do actually, I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm just going to trim away the excess on the top line. There we go. And then I'm just going to use glue to stick that down. So I'm going to put that across the middle here. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just with my fine liner, I'm just going to add some detail to those circles. There we go. Crikey, £50. It's because they know, especially if it's a brand, they know people will buy a brand, don't they? But I think I'll pay about £10. You can't complain at £10, can you? I think that's about a 50 metre roll. Yeah. So there we go. That's the finished project. Ooh, there's a weird bug going on. Is everyone seeing okay? There's a bug in the technology tonight. It's very strange. Right, there we go. But yeah. So we've got the winter vines here, and then we've got the, I should know my own stamps by now, but I need to tidy them up anyway. I've actually put the other ones down somewhere and I can't find those. There we go. So we've got winter vines, and then we've got Narky sentiments for the, I'm not sure I've used that one before actually. So, as always, they will be in the shop as product of the week. I know this is boring for all of you, but this is why I'm here at the end of the day, isn't it? So, thank you, Vicky. Yeah, Vicky, that's what, it was jumping and then it just went all blurry and I can't explain it. It was very pixely. Right, so immediately after this I'll be setting the discount code up, but it takes 10 minutes or so, so give me 10 minutes or so, but to get 20% off each of those sets, so 20% off Narky Sentiments, 20% off Winter Vine, use the code LIVE20, and there's only 5 of these at that price, and when they're gone at that price, they're gone. So I did work it out the other day. I was laying in bed thinking I should know this information. So 20% off £12 is, it brings it down to £9.60. No, it doesn't. Yep, it does. It brings it down to £9.60, 120, 120, £9.60. Then with the £1.55 postage and packaging, you're paying £11. £9.60, £10.60, £11.15. So £11.15, which is still cheaper than one set on its own at £12. So there we go. So thank you to everyone for joining. I'm very grateful as always. Sorry it had to be a Tuesday this week, but hopefully we'll be back Monday next week. Oh, we will definitely be back Monday next week, because I'll be talking you through the new release, which is really exciting. So yeah, please join on Monday 6 o'clock the Dani Doodles Facebook page, and I'll be talking you through the new release, which will have been released that day. So, and I'll be showing you some samples as well. Thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.